Okay. So surprise, I wasn't originally going to be here tonight, but I am. But next week and for the next 3 Wednesdays, you guys will have Victoria, who's amazing. So I hope you enjoy her for the next few weeks. But in the meantime, I get to hang out with you for an hour again. I feel really bad because at the beginning, I wrote at 5:30 that we were meant to start at 6:45 because it's 6:45 here, and someone left. Oh, I feel really bad. Okay. So yeah, also in the group chat, for those of you just coming, hi, I'm here this week. But yes, so hopefully everyone can see in the group chat. I've also given you the links to the YouTube playlist for the playback of these classes, as well as to my Insight Timer profile where you can find my meditations for free online. The app is free as well. And just if you ever try to download it and you get confused, there are paid features on the app, like there sometimes are, but all of these you can access totally free. Yes. I don't think I uploaded last week's class yet. It was a very busy week. So I will do that. Sorry, there's more people coming. Oh, okay. Thank God. Okay. So I think Joe, I'm so glad that you're back because I realized that I wrote 6:45 on the when I said we start at 6:45 and not 6:30, but I meant 5:45 UK time at 6:45 here in Italy. So I'm glad you're back because I felt really terrible. Okay. So yes, and so for those of you who don't know me, it's probably an odd introduction. I'm sorry. Right. So I'm Julie, and we are going to start. As always, I really want to invite you to be kind to your mind and to your body. It's very easy, of course, to get into negative cycles of thinking. And yet life is cycles. Sometimes things are going great and sometimes they're going less great. Sometimes we feel really strong and other times we don't at all. And so I just really want to invite you to practice just kindness and acceptance wherever you might be in your journey in life right now. Right. So we'll start with a centering and a breathing, and then we will move into some warm-ups, and then we will flow through some postures. For anyone that, if this is your first time joining, this is absolutely, everything that we do is absolutely fine to do if you are currently going through any IVF treatments. We avoid deep twists, and we avoid inversions and core work. So if you are a seasoned yogi, this is a bit more gentle than maybe some of what else you might encounter. Okay. I always feel like I talk too much every week because obviously some people are new and some of you have been doing this for weeks and weeks. So anyway. Let's start. One last thing to say, as always, I don't use props when I teach this class, but you are welcome to use props. So if you have blocks, bolsters, straps, anything that you like to use, and they don't even have to be yoga props. They can be couch cushions, pillows, blankets, just whatever works for you. Okay? All right. So okay. So first thing is just to find a comfortable seated position, either sitting up really tall and elongating the spine, or coming down onto your back. So if you've been at work, if you've been at a desk, I recommend just forgetting this sitting thing and instead coming down onto your back, in which case you always have the options of either bending your knees, which is easier on your lower back, or extending the legs all the way out, just letting them flop and splay. So just find what feels best to you in this moment. And it doesn't have to be the same as last week or any other week. It's just what feels right to you right now. Okay. Now, either sitting up tall or lying down. Again, once you've found which is right for you right now, just take a few rolls of the shoulders. Inhale, roll the shoulders up, and exhale them down and back. And again. And one more. And just relax the shoulders down. Relax the hands wherever they're comfortable, either facing up or down. They say down for grounding energy, up for receiving energy. Then close your eyes. And take a deep inhale through the nose. And then exhale, sigh or blow the air out of the mouth. Just do this as many times as you need. Inhaling calm, exhaling, sighing out, letting go of any stress or any tension that you can release in this moment. And let your natural breath take over again when you're ready. And just notice your breath and notice what your breath can tell you about your body, about your mind in this moment, just about your experience right now. And whatever you find, just allow it to be as it is. So just becoming aware of your current experience, being human right now. And start to soften through the face, relaxing the brow, relaxing the corners of the eyes and the corners of the mouth. Loosen the jaw. Just check in with your body now and notice anywhere that you might be storing tension right now. And just allow yourself to be intuitive here. Maybe you even notice you store tension more on one side of the body than the other. But just acknowledge whatever is. And again, notice. And see if through this noticing, you can start to release some of this tension. And know that anything is okay. So if you notice nothing, it's okay. If you notice, but it all feels the same even after, that's okay too. And from here, I'd like you to bring the awareness back to your breath and just start to deepen the breath. Inhale through the nose, take the breath down into the belly so that the belly rises with the inhale. Exhale out the nose and feel the belly roll back toward your spine. So you're starting to breathe with your diaphragm. Inhale through the nose, belly rises. Exhale out the nose, belly falls. And again, inhale through the nose, belly rises. Exhale out the nose, belly falls, and then deepen the breath further. So you start to fill up and expand belly, ribs, chest on that inhale. And then exhale out the nose, chest, ribs, and belly contract. So this is known as a dirgha breath. It's a foundational or a basic breath in pranayama or yogic breathing. So you can either stay with this breath throughout the practice, or you can play with coming into an ujjayi or an ocean wave sounding breath by expanding through, you're still expanding, but by contracting through the back of the throat and the epiglottis as you breathe. So it's a bit like you're inhaling and exhaling the word home through the nose. So it creates this ocean wave sound. And I know we've covered this briefly in other weeks, but just for anyone that maybe wants to take that a little further tonight, if you're not familiar with it, you can think of this breath also like if you were going to fog a mirror. So you would hold that mirror in front of your mouth and you would exhale. And then if you were going to unfog it, almost like sort of like something startled you. Now, when you do that inhale, it can be a little tickly on the throat, but when we do that through the nose, sort of Darth Vader thing happening there. So from here, if you want to play with that, the way that you can do it is, again, it's like you're fogging and unfogging a mirror. but it's just something to play with. So it's just, that's the Ujjayi breath. It's a foundational breath also in pranayama and yogic breathing. We won't spend too long with this tonight, but if you want more time with that, there is a video on the YouTube channel as well. So however you're breathing, take a few more minutes here. Not minutes, moments. And take one more breath here. And from here, just keep your eyes closed or close them again. And without attaching any judgment, I'd like you to just check in with how you're feeling right now. So if you are relaxed, if you're agitated, if you're anything at all, again, just notice whatever is. And then if you'd like, feel free to set an intention for your practice this evening with regards to just the energetic state that you'd like to hold. So if you're in a really good place with yourself, maybe it's just building more of that energy. And if you're feeling a little lower, maybe it's just an intention to be or to practice with gratitude. But again, anything is fine. And then from here, start to mentally ready yourself for movement. And in your own time and in your own way, just draw some movement back into your body. Let yourself roll around, yawn, sigh, stretch, just anything that would feel good to you. And unfortunately, regarding the clarity of the voice, because I know one of you has just messaged saying that the voice isn't too clear when I'm on the mat. Unfortunately, I can't really do a whole lot about that when we're actually in the movements. But hopefully, I'll bring it as close as I can. Okay. Okay. So from here, I'm not sure if you can hear, there's a car alarm going off, but hopefully that will stop soon. Okay, so I mean, part of life, accepting whatever is. So apologies if you can, oh, it's gone off. Okay, so what I'd like you to do before anything else is I just want you to sit up tall in some way that feels okay to you to sit up tall, okay? So you can sit on a pillow or a block or with your legs crossed. We're not going to be here for long. And then once you're here, I want you to take the backs of your hands and I want you to bring them together out in front of you. Okay, so backs of the hands together out in front of you. And then I want you to roll your fingers in towards your chest and then up to the sky. So it's like you're coming through a lotus. You take it down, up, and around. And just do a few like this and let your wrists crack and click as they do. And really let your wrists be the main actors here. And then take it the other way. and then start to release. Take your hands out in front of you and then roll over your knees and bring yourself up into a tabletop position. So that means you're going to come onto hands and knees. Now, once you're on hands and knees, we're actually going to spend a little bit of time on hands and knees today. I feel like we don't get to do this too, or we haven't done this too often in here. So one option, if your knees are feeling a little sensitive, if you have a thin mat or if you've got a really hard floor under you, you can either fold a blanket or a towel under it, or you can also put a fold in your mat and bring your knees onto that fold. And then with your hands, I want you to spread the fingers as wide as you can. So you have these two starfish. And by spreading the fingers wide, we just help support the wrists. If at any point it still feels like too much on your wrists, you can come up onto fists, okay? All right, now from here, I want you to arch your back, roll the shoulders back. Shoulders are in line with the wrists. We roll the shoulders back. We open up through the chest. We lift up through the sits bones. We take an inhale there. And then exhale, tuck the chin in toward your chest and round all the way up into a kitty cat. Inhale, arch the spine. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. And exhale, round. And one more. Okay. Now bring it all the way back to a neutral tabletop position. And now I'd like you to take your bum and swing it a bit toward your right heel and then roll it toward your left and then up toward your left shoulder. And you're just making these circles, circling your body around and around, and just have a play, have some fun with that. And then change directions at some point soon. Okay. And then take it all the way back to center. Roll your bottom back toward your heels. Bring the belly over or between the thighs. You can also take the knees a little wider if you'd rather bring the belly down, and that's absolutely fine. And then I want you to walk your hands out. And so you're coming down into a child's pose. Take the forehead down and just sigh out there. Now lift the head, lift the heart. Take your hands to the outside edges of your mat. So you're bringing them off the floor. And if you're not using a mat, that's fine. You can just take them wider than shoulder distance. Now, take your right arm, cross it over your left, like a cat stretching out its foreleg. And then let your head come down between your upper arms. And then shift the weight of your hip a little bit more toward the right side. So you feel this long stretch across the right side of your body. Okay. Take the right hand back and then cross left over right. So right arm going out wide to the outside edge of the mat, wider than shoulder distance, and then cross the left arm over the right, head between the upper arms. Oh, and just breathe into that left side stretch, sending the weight a little bit more toward your left hip or heel. Okay. Take that left hand back, and then I want you to walk yourself back up into tabletop. So knees in line with the hips, shoulders in line with the wrists, okay? And from here, let's take a little baby twist. So it's not to say that that we have to avoid twists entirely. It's just that we take them in mild ways if we do them at all. So what we're going to do, simple, is we're just taking the right forearm down onto the floor so that your right wrist is more or less behind your left, okay? And then just turn to look past that left shoulder, and you might feel a little stretch around the shoulder there. Hopefully should feel nice. Oh, and just breathe, breathe. Okay, walk it back up, and we swap to the other side. Left elbow and forearm coming down, left wrist behind the right, turn to look past that right shoulder. Okay, take it back through center. Now, we're going to just give a little energy to this tonight, just bringing some energy through the breath. And just a reminder, wherever you are is okay. So if you're completely new to this and some of this is feeling slightly challenging, I mean, we're not going to do anything too dramatic, but even still, if it's slightly challenging, that's okay. So you just always start where you are. So take the right knee now, and I want you to draw it in toward the chest. So you're curling up through the back, and you're going to take an inhale here through the nose, and then as you exhale, I want you to exhale ha, and you are going to kick that leg back behind you, opening the chest, and the head can stay neutral. We're not dropping the neck or dropping the head back. We're keeping the neck neutral. So again, we inhale, curl it in, and then we exhale ha, and we're going to do this somewhat quickly. I'm just going to move a little so that I'm not kicking the pot behind me. Okay, ha, ha. Ha, 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 ha. A few more. Ha. And if you feel silly doing that breath, it's okay. Just feel silly. Ha, ha, ha. And one more. Ha. I want you to kick it back. Okay. From here, with that leg kicked back, I'm trying to figure out how to deal with the mic issue if it's not working too well tonight, but and also so that you can see. We're just doing what we can. Okay, so now with that right leg back behind you, what I'd like you to do is I want you to bend that knee so you're opening the hip up toward the sky. And then I want you to take that leg and you're bringing it up like you're a dog having a wee. Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. So take it up, and then I want you to roll it toward your shoulder, around to your elbow, and then take that leg back again. And we're just going to do a few of these. You should probably pretty quickly feel your glute or your bum engage with this. So we take it up, out, and around. Take one more. And then take it all the way back. Take a long stretch there, reaching back through the leg, open the chest, and then exhale, draw that knee in. Now, I want you to keep your bum up in the air, but come down onto your forearms. And then walk your arms out in front of you, taking your chin or your forehead. I think the forehead's more comfortable. The forehead down to the ground, coming into a puppy pose. Sigh it out there. So we've just gone from our hydrated dog having a wee to our puppy pose. So puppy pose is great for opening the upper back and the shoulders. Take one more breath here. Okay. Start to walk it all the way back up. So again, knees in line with the hips, wrists in line with the shoulders. And we're going to go for what they're called hara, H-A-R-A, hara kicks. So your hara is that breath. It's that inhale through the nose, ha, coming out the mouth. So we draw the left knee in, inhale, ha, 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 and deep breaths. The idea here is that you're getting a flood of oxygen into the body, ha, 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 ha. 4 more, ha, 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 and 1 more, ha, kick it back. Okay, and then back to our hydrated dog. So we take that knee, we bring it all the way out to the side, up toward the shoulder, around to the elbow, and back. And if you don't go as far as I do, don't worry, that's okay. I've been doing yoga for what's becoming a long time now. I just turned 36 yesterday, so about 17 years, so it's okay. Just keep it going. Two more. Okay, take that leg back, roll the shoulders back, square the hips forward. Breathe. Exhale, take that left knee down. Roll your bottom back toward your heels, come into Garbhasana, into child's pose. Take the forehead down. And just sigh it out. Take one more breath here. Okay. Then I want you to start to lift the head, lift the heart. And if you have a fold in your mat, just go ahead and take it out. And then come up onto your fingertips. So you're making these 2 5-legged spiders. And then I want you to spread the fingers out, out, out as much as you can. Okay? And then from here, roll up toward your hands, curl the toes under behind you, and then push your hips back. Sorry, I got distracted there for a moment because I suddenly was really smelling sage and I was trying to figure out where it was coming from, like burning sage. Okay, so take your hips back and you're going to take it back into a downward dog. Now, in this down dog, I want you to really roll your shoulders back. We're not going to stay here for too long. And then take a little walk of your dog. So you're bending one knee and then the other. Okay, and then push it all the way back into that downward dog. Roll the shoulders back. Take another deep breath here. Okay, and then let's talk about the downward dog a little bit. So from here, just go ahead, come down onto your knees for a moment. And I just want you to look up here. And the reason I want to talk about this pose is I try to keep these classes pretty gentle for the most part. But as I'm continuing to research further and further, I'm finding the poses that supposedly are beneficial during fertility treatments, and also the poses, of course, which we already know are quite or contraindicated at the very least. So one of the poses that is supposedly beneficial, and of course we can never fully test these things, but one of the poses that's supposedly beneficial is the downward dog. And you can read about this on your own, of course, if you want. I don't want to spend too much time talking about it. But so I just want us to take a moment to just be with that down dog, because even regardless, doing poses and things is good for you typically, unless you have an injury that prevents you. So let's just break this downward dog down so that if you ever feel like hanging out, even just for 3 breaths in a down dog, you know, taking a break, you can. So the thing I want you to focus on is your hands to start. So the easiest way to do down dog is to start in child's pose. So again, when we come up onto those 5-legged spiders, and then we spread the fingers out as wide as we can, because this is what's going to protect the wrist. When you have that sort of palm, that starfish, it means that not as much weight's going to go into the bone. When you have your hand like this, you have all that space underneath that is going in, that means your weight's going into your wrist bone instead, wrist bones. So again, start there, and then the thing that I'm just taking that off so you can see the shoulders here. So what I want you to do is spread it out as wide as you can with the hands, and then roll up, and again, curl the toes under. But now, one thing that often happens here is that people just lock out the joints, and they sort of sit into their shoulder joints in the down dog, which isn't the healthiest thing to do for your joints. And some people are more naturally flexible and able to do that more than others. So the thing I want you to avoid, again, is that sitting into the joint. So I want you to sort of roll your shoulders back like you're squeezing lemons under your armpits, so you feel your shoulders actually activating here. Okay, so we squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Again, like you're squeezing lemons, you're making lemon, it's really gross, isn't it? Making lemons with your lemonade with your armpits. Okay, so it's really, again, it's easy to fall into, if you look at me for a moment, this is me just falling into the joint there, okay? And then if I roll the shoulders back, this is where I'm at more. So the head, even when it's dropped down, it's not going to straight through. Okay, so then once you can always just play with that, okay? And again, just take a brief walk here. If you need a break at any point, take a break. If you're new to this and you're thinking, oh, it's okay. Okay, now once you've had a little walk of that dog, if you want to take this, we're just gonna take it one step further on each side. We're going to inhale, lift the right leg up. And then exhale, bend the right knee, pointing the right toes to the left side. And then you're going to really open up through that right hip, like there's a puppet string from your hip to the ceiling. Inhale, lift it back up, straight back up. Exhale, take it down. We're going to do the other side. Inhale, left leg swinging up into the sky. And then exhale, bend that left knee and turn to open that hip up to the ceiling. And this is another safe way to twist, by the way. And you're doing a hip opener, which is fantastic. Okay, inhale, lift that left leg straight back up. Exhale, left foot down. And then start to walk your hands back, bend your knees, hang down, curl into a little ball. Take a moment just to sigh out there. And then tuck the chin in toward your chest and slowly ragdoll your body all the way up to standing. Okay. We're going to, again, play a little bit with balances. So take your feet, bring them to a hip distance stance. So squaring forward. And let's just take a roll of the shoulders. Inhale, roll the shoulders up. And exhale them down. And again. And one more. Okay. Now, ground through your feet. I'm still cut off, it's okay. So we're grounding through the feet. I want you to really feel that foundation. So you're feeling the ball, the side, the heel of each foot. And then zip up through the pelvis and the core. Now, to zip up through the pelvis and the core, it doesn't mean that, that you are sucking in, because usually when we suck in, it sort of pushes the tailbone back, and then we're sucking it in. It means that we're just drawing up, okay? And then that also cinches in the tailbone. Okay. Oh, technology. I mean, it's awesome because we can do this, but okay. So we drop through the core, shoulders back, nice proud chest. Oh. Connect into a deep breath. And shift your weight a little bit, foot to foot, leg to leg. And shift your weight down through your right foot. And then I want you to take your left heel, and you can either start by bringing that heel up above the ankle, and you can stay here. So if this is enough, stay here. If you want to use a wall, please feel free to use a wall. If you want to take it further, you can put it into the calf, but avoid putting it on the knee. It feels like a really natural place for it. It's not a great habit to get into long term. It won't be good for the knee. So either onto the calf, or you can potentially help it all the way up into the thigh. Okay, so find which of those is right for you. Okay, and then I'm going to come closer in just a moment anyway. So once you're here, find a place where you can focus your gaze. So not me, because I'm a hot mess and I move around. So something on the wall or the floor that isn't going to move and cause you to lose your balance. Okay? And then when you're ready, inhale, take the arms all the way up. And then exhale, sink your shoulders. So you're just opening up into this variation of tree with the arms open. And play with exhaling, and like you're between two panes of glass, you're going to lean out over that bent left leg. Okay. And then bring it all the way back through center, lifting it back up. Okay. And then exhale. Start to unwind as carefully as you can. Take that foot down and then pick up your other leg and just give the ankle a little twizzle around. And let's actually also stretch the front of that foot. So what I'd like you to do is I'd actually like you to take a step back with your right foot, and without going too hard into this, because sometimes the toes can cramp, all I want you to do is roll over the front edge, and you can bend your knees and lean into that. So you should be getting a stretch across the front of that foot. It's an area we don't stretch that often, so hopefully should feel good. Keep it there. Okay, take it back up. And then again, we're in that hip distance stance with the feet. Let's just take some cleansing breaths. So bend your knees, inhale, lift the arms. And inhale, lift all the way up. And exhale, release. Okay. And again, we've got that hip distance stance through the feet. We feel that foundation of the earth. Inhale the shoulders up. Oh, exhale them back. Take a moment to sigh out. And again, try to shift the weight as evenly as you can across the whole of each foot. And take the weight back and forth, foot to foot, leg to leg. Take it into your left foot now. And bring your right heel up above your left ankle, turning that knee out to the side. And then maybe take it up into the calf, or maybe take it all the way up into the thigh. And again, find your drishti, that point where you can focus. Again, not me. And then inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, sink the shoulders. And then play with coming into that leaning tree. And if your tree gets caught in a storm, it's okay. Just take your time playing with it and or coming back in. Inhale, lift all the way back up through center. Exhale, start to unwind. Take that foot back down. And then again, we are going to take a little step back with the left foot. Okay, and then roll over the toes, bend the knees. Okay, start to take it back up. Okay. From here, feet are at hip distance again. I want you to take a big inhale, lift the arms. And then exhale, sink your shoulders. So you're just here receiving this evening. Coming into mountain, into Tadasana. And take an inhale. And as you exhale, I want you to bend your knees, send your bottom back. And you're just reaching your arms out a bit like you want to give a hug. So rather than being here with the arms straight up and the back sort of doing this weird little archy thing, I want you to, sorry, it just said my internet connection was unstable. I'm really sorry if that's the case. Okay, so take your bum back. And it's like you're trying to sit into a chair, but you just don't quite trust the person offering it to you. Okay, so you're sitting back, and then the arms are out more to diagonal. Now, squeeze the inner thighs like there's a block between your legs. Your knees are pointing toward your second toes, not out toward the fourth or the fifth, not in like you have to pee. You did that earlier with your hydrated dog. And we're just going to hold this for another 2 to 3 breaths. Just saying hi to the quads. And then I want you to go for a ski jump. So bringing the belly over the thighs. And then inhale, lift it all the way back up. Exhale, take your arms out to a T and swan dive. Hang the head, hang the arms. So you're coming into Uttanasana, into a standing forward fold. And if you have your hands on the floor, it's fine. If your hands are dangling in the air, that's fine. Here in Uttanasana, I'd like you to take hold of opposite elbows and opposite hands and just sway a little bit side to side. And you can let your hips guide this, or As my partner's mother said the other day, she asked, is it her butt that's guiding this? Yes, pretty much. Head is heavy. Okay, take it back to center. Bend your knees, take your hands down to the ground, and let your knees turn out. Okay? So you are coming into a frog. And then from here, two options. We're doing a lot for the hips today. We're always doing a lot for the hips in these classes, somewhat unsurprisingly. So what you can do here is you can either stay here with your heels lifted, or if and only if it's available to you, you can hop the feet out, bringing the soles of the feet down. Okay, but for some people that would break the arch of the foot. Don't break your foot. And for some people it's just deeply uncomfortable. And discomfort is kind of fine. Pain is where it's not so fine. Okay, so pain unacceptable, discomfort somewhat acceptable. Okay, so either on the soles of the feet or up onto the heels. And then I want you to take your elbows and bring them to the insides of your knees. Draw your palms together, roll your shoulders back and elongate your spine. And you're squeezing your knees and your elbows against each other. So it's not just this or that, but they're both actively working as you elongate the spine. So this is Malasana, or yogic squat. Take a few deep breaths here. Are you still breathing? I mean, I hope you're breathing, else you would have passed out, but keep breathing deeply. Okay, and start to release. And if you can, gently fall onto your bottom. And if that is not comfortable, help yourself down onto your bottom. And then once you come to seated, take a moment just to sigh out. Okay, now take the backs of your hands together again. Let me just scooch a little closer for this one. Okay, so take the backs of your hands together again. But then I want you to cross your right hand over your left, drawing your palms together. So again, backs of the hands, right over left, interlace. And then roll the fingers in toward your chest and then up. So this is just a little wrist cool down, effectively. You can use it too in warm-ups though. It's just something nice to stretch the wrists. So we did those down dogs in the tabletop. Okay, unwind. Backs of the hands back together. And we take left over right, palms together, interlace, roll through and away. Okay, unwind. You can just unwind entirely. Now, once you're there, start to bring yourself down onto your back. And either, just like at the beginning, either bend your knees or extend your legs all the way out, just letting them flop and splay, as long as that feels okay to your lower back. Relax your shoulders. Relax your hands. And then close your eyes. And take a few last deep inhales through the nose, with exhales sighing or blowing the air out of the mouth. And then once you've sighed out a few times, just return to the natural rhythm of your breath. And feel your eyelids become heavy. And feel your body melt down. And as you relax here, I'd like you to, without labeling, without attaching to any emotions, I'd like you to notice if there are unkind things that you frequently say to yourself, or maybe even about somebody else, even if it's not directly to them. But if you can think of something about yourself, start there. And I'd like you to think of the opposite of this thing. So, for example, if you frequently tell yourself that you're unattractive, the opposite, the affirmation, is I am attractive. If it's you're not good enough, it is I am good enough or more than good enough. If it's about something in particular, you get the idea. And if it resonates for you, I'd like you to set the intention that anytime you hear yourself saying this unkind thing to yourself, you're going to swap it and start to say the kind thing. And it can be really challenging at first. But just remember that whatever you practice, you get better at. So if you practice telling yourself how terrible you are, you'll get better at saying those things and you'll get better at believing those things. But if you practice saying the kind things, you'll get better at believing those things and saying those things, probably not only for yourself, but for others too. So again, if it resonates, set that intention. And then from here, start to deepen your breath now. And draw some movement back into your fingers and into your toes. Gently roll to one side. And then bring yourself all the way back up to seated. And once you come back to seated, take your hands into prayer in front of the heart. Gently bow, honoring your body, your light, your practice, and this earth. And thank you all so much for coming tonight. And yeah, just that reminder that whatever you practice, you get better at. And that includes when you start to practice something new. So if it's hard, it will get easier with practice. So I'm definitely not going to be here next week. It is definitely Victoria. And she's fantastic, but it will be on my Zoom. So you'll see my picture at the beginning, but it's not me, it will be her. And we look very different. She's very blonde and yeah. So I will see you in September, and I hope you guys all have a very beautiful August, and thank you so much. Okay, ciao.